Hey, how you doing? This is Tony from Optimized Hardware. Going to start a new segment, monthly news, basically on anything that I find interesting, whether it's new products, new parts, hardware, software, or news going on in the industry. So, without further ado, let's get into the news. Former Samsung executives arrested for allegedly using stolen memory tech to build chip factories in China. The two suspects, ex CEOs of Samsung, leaked $3.2 billion worth of Samsung secrets. South Korean police arrested them just recently, and it's all over Tom's Hardware and elsewhere in the media. So interesting that this has happened again. We saw this recently with Hynix. I believe it was last year that someone was arrested for a similar leak. So interesting. Kind of crazy what's going on with China and all this leaks going on. But that caught my eye in the news this week. Moving on. 50 series Blackwell designs apparently supposed to be finalized this month, with the 5080 rumored to have a 400 watt TGP. Blackwell October release is possible, what we're hearing, so it'll be on the new GDDR7 memory, and have a cost of, looks like around $2,000 starting, which isn't a surprise. It looks like AMD is also not attempting to compete with them in the high-end GPU market, and I know there is a new release coming out. We'll talk about that probably next week when we get a little more info on it. Nvidia also recorded revenues of $30 billion in the second quarter, mostly due to their data center division. So it looks like our boys rolling in the money again. With the gaming division, it looks like only pulled in 9% of that revenue increase, and they were way up from the quarter from last year. So, Nvidia is obviously doing strong. Intel Core Ultra 200 Arrow Lake, that's a mouthful. Desktop CPU launch reportedly delayed to October of 24. Arrow Lake CPUs, they're supposed to be 18% faster than the i9-14900K at 250 watts, showing Cinebench scores for R23 at around 43,000, and that they're showing their scores for 14900K at 36,681, which makes an 18% increase. I do have something to say about that, seeing that my 14900K, even dialed back, is pulling around 42,000 in R23. I am on a loop, but other than that, it's basically a stock CPU with some adjustments in BIOS, obviously. And with all the things that had happened with 13th and 14th gen and all the degradation and voltage issues, let's hope Intel comes out swinging with the CPU and it does well. We'll see how that goes. The Intel Z890 motherboards reported to ship with Intel default profiles by default. There will be alternative profiles available, but when you click the button, it's going to tell you to use at your own risk. And if it blows up, it's not our fault. So no surprise there. AM5, it looks like that new chips, they're selling rather bad. Hardware Unbox just did a video on that, and said that units are not flying off the shelf, apparently, which is a shame, because I think everyone was hoping for AMD to come out swinging here and come out with a really good CPU to kind of lift up the market and have something great. And the other issue, too, is the X870 boards. The prices are going to go way up. It looks like their even budget boards are going to be around $325 for their most basic boards, and their high-end boards will be $700 plus. And that's kind of showing what Asus is showing for pricing. And there's also rumors from AMD for a 96-core Threadripper leak, so we'll see if that happens. I'm not sure if that will actually come to fruition, but we can wait and see, and maybe in our next news segment we'll have some more information on that as information gets leaked. So we'll go from there. A couple of new products that caught my eye recently. Thermalright's new Peerless Assassin 140 looks like a strong contender for a budget cooler. It features one 120mm fan and one 140mm fan in a dual tower configuration. It's a little odd. but it looks decent. It is a dual tower, of course. It has low noise levels, and it's under $40 and can be found there on Amazon and other retailers. So it's good to see Thermalright just keep pumping out great budget coolers to the public, because I use them as a system integrator for budget builds for a lot of my clients that just don't have a lot to spend on cooling, and they're very reliable and similar to like the Scythe Fuma 2 that was out years ago, and it's a legend behind me. So glad to see Thermalright still doing that and putting those out into the market. Acer also entering the retail power supply market. The new Predator GX 850 850 watt ATX 3.0 SFX PSU. It does have 80 plus gold certification. Prices show for US market to be like 130 to 140. It might be a little high for what that is, especially coming new into the market. It does have the 12 volt high power connector for what I'm seeing. So probably looking towards that 4070 Ti group, in that range. But, at that price, you can get a lot of decent power supplies at that cost. So we'll see how Acer does in the market with that, that power supply. But that's something to look at. And maybe if I get one, I'll do a review on it and put in a build or something. But I have brands that I typically stick with. But really happy to see Thermalright come out with another great budget cooler for under $50. So that's pretty awesome. On a more personal note, the EKWB situation and the CEOs. So Steve just did that big video that was super long and really in depth. And honestly, it was a good video and very revealing. And as far as EK goes, I had a relationship with EK and some of the staff members there. I worked with Attila, I worked with Dave, and I had some messages back and forth with Joey. Those guys were phenomenal, and I'm sure they were terrific employees. They did a lot for me and helped me out with my personal builds and some builds for my customers. I showcased them. I tagged EK in a lot of stuff. I put a lot of stuff up in my social media. Unfortunately, I have a lot of regret in that, not towards any of the employees, but just towards the CEOs and upper management there that have let this company go straight to hell, frankly. Edward Koenig, whatever. I mean, I'm sure people are seeing him as a parasite, basically. I don't want to judge anyone if I don't know them, but it doesn't look good. They really need to get their stuff together and figure it out and take care of their employees. I hope they bring it back, because I've never really had any issues with any EK products. I do love their fittings. I do think they look really good. But, for my next build at this point with Attila, Dave, who has been excellent to me, Dave Alcock, Attila Gabor, and Joey, those guys stepping off and moving on to bigger and better things. I know Dave went over to Height, and I wish him the best. Attila went over to Noctua, which he's going to do great there, and Joey went to Thermal Grizzly to go work with Roman, which hats off. That's going to be awesome for him and a great opportunity, because that guy is gifted and he builds some beautiful stuff. They've been fabulous to me and really helped me out a lot. And I wish them the best, and I hope EK gets their stuff together and turn it around. But if they don't, it is what it is. And on my next personal build, I'll be using either Heat Killer or Optimus or one of those for when the next gen stuff comes out, when I build my next rig, which will be shortly, because when the new products come out, I do buy them and test them on my own with my own money, not from sponsors, not from anyone else. I support myself. I work a full-time job, so I think it's really sad what happened with EK and me being in a management position in my job. It's really disappointing to see what they're doing, what Edward and his cronies have done with that company. So fortunately, I hope they have some accountability, step up and make the corrections that are needed. Like, I don't want to see a video saying how you're going to make it right. Just make it right. But that's really all I have for this week. I'd like to say thank you to all my supporters. I'd like to say thank you to all my friends. If you're interested in getting into custom computers and learning something, you can go out to our Facebook group. It's PC Custom Builders. We have about 80,000 members. It's a really friendly group. There's no toxicity there. We're really decent about moderating. I'm one of the moderators there, and we have a great group. So we'd love to see you come over, and you can share your rig, share your builds, or if you have any issues, we'd love to help you out. Also, I have, no sponsors helping me with any of this stuff as far as my YouTube channel. It's just raw. I'm an old guy who likes PC building. I like hardware. I do sell computers. I'm a system integrator in my local area, and I've been very successful. So appreciate everybody. Let's look out for next week's tech news, and I hope you guys have a great week or month. We'll see you soon. Take care and have a great day.